I want you to do a little experiment here. Imagine that this ball is a great idea that you just had and you want to tell people about it. Your friends, your colleagues, maybe go up on stage and pitch it to a room full of people. You want them to believe in this idea as much as you do. Now, there are two ways that you can go about it. First, you can just start talking about it. Maybe you fumble a little, maybe you speak a little too fast. Maybe you just try to get your point across as best as possible and hope that it will work. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. The second way that you can try is to get clear on exactly what you want to say and then use your words and your body language to strategically communicate this idea. Maybe you lean forward. Maybe you use your hand gestures to increase focus. Maybe you slow down your pace a little to help people connect emotionally with your idea. Maybe you look them directly in the eye to make them trust your idea. And finally, you pause. And that gets you undivided attention. Now the question is, how can you become this second kind of person? Can you really master skills of good communication? And the answer, my friends, is yes, because that is what they are, skills. Nobody is born with inherent talent or genetics that make them a good communicator. These are skills that you acquire through experience and practice. And today I am going to show you exactly how to do that. You cannot be a good communicator without being a good listener, because you are never communicating in a void. You are doing it with other people. Even now when I'm sitting and recording this video alone in a room speaking to a camera, I am not doing it in a void. I am speaking to you guys. So, if your natural instinct is to butt in after every sentence someone else has spoken, or be very quick to give your own opinion in a conversation without waiting for somebody else to finish their point, you are not really listening. What you're doing is constantly thinking about what you want to say next or how you should respond to whatever point this person is making. And that is a major problem with majority of the people out there. Active listening is doing the exact opposite of whatever I just said. It means being interested in what the other person has to say, paying attention to their body language, their expressions, not thinking about your own reaction while they are making a point, and definitely not rushing to interrupt. When you do this, you build trust with the other person that you're communicating with, and that makes your interaction a lot more free-flowing. It makes you both comfortable with each other, and when that happens, a lot of good communication just happens automatically. It does not have to be forced. It becomes a flow. Now, when you do speak, on the other hand, you want to have the right words to say, to put across your point, and that cannot happen without having good vocabulary. But the words that you actually use in day-to-day communication, the words that you use when you want to convey a thought, when you want to put together a sentence, when you want to communicate an idea. A lot of you comment on my videos saying that you watch these to improve your English. And part of the reason for that is that the vocabulary that I use in day-to-day life is slightly more nuanced than what most people use. That is what having the right vocabulary does. It helps you express your ideas clearly and precisely. Here's an example. Hi guys, today we are going to talk about things that make your communication better, things that help you sound nicer when you're talking to others. Now, compare that to this. Hi guys, today we are discussing strategies that enhance your communication skills. These tools will make you more articulate and help you sound more persuasive when you are communicating with others. Which one was more impactful? Which one was clearer? The second example is a clear winner. It shows you how the right vocabulary helps you express your ideas more clearly, and it also leaves very little room for other people to misinterpret what you're saying, right? A lot of the times what we are trying to communicate does not get conveyed because the other person doesn't clearly understand what we are trying to say. Now, how do you go ahead and improve your vocabulary? Don't worry, I do not want you to go pick up a dictionary and start memorizing words, because that does not help anyone. What I want you to do instead is start reading. 10-15 minutes a day, you can pick up any book or article that interests you on any topic that interests you, all I want you to do is do it on a digital device. So either your phone, Kindle, iPad, laptop. Do not pick up a physical book for this purpose. And the reason for this is that whenever you're reading and you don't understand a word, with these digital devices, you can actually just highlight that word and look up the meaning instantly. You can't do that with a book. You'll also have to sit with a dictionary, and that makes the whole process a little bit more tedious, and that is not what you want right now. So when you're reading online and you don't know the meaning of a word, you look it up, you understand the meaning, and then when you reread that sentence, you understand that word in context, and it becomes committed to your memory. Another thing that you can do here is watch your favorite shows or videos that you like in the language that you are trying to become fluent in, and watch them multiple times. This helps you understand sentence structure and how particular words are used in the context to different situations. When you hear a word you don't understand, just look it up. I actually improved my communication, my spoken English a lot by watching all of these shows that used to come on Star Wars and now are available on Netflix. And just doing these two things, which is reading on a digital device to understand, meanings and context of different words, and watching your favorite shows, videos repeatedly, will help you expand your vocabulary beyond just reading from a dictionary or playing word games. One of the biggest reasons that people fumble or they go blank when they're trying to communicate is because they cannot decide what to say first, how to put across their idea so that people understand them. And that is because their brains have not been trained to structure their thoughts. This means having a logical flow for not only how you think, but also how you put your thoughts across. Structured thinking basically ensures that your communication has a purpose, it flows smoothly, and it is effective and impactful. But how exactly can you learn to think and then speak in a structured manner? Traditionally, if you ask this question on Google or ChatGPT, it will give you tips like use frameworks, prioritize info, think in steps. And while helpful, I think that is not complete information. It's incomplete information. What I have personally found helpful here to improve structured thought, and this is one of my favorite ways of doing this, is to use a voice notes or a voice transcription app. The one that I'm using right now is VoicePal by Ali Abdal, and I absolutely love it. It is just so easy to use, and it automatically transcribes my thoughts, turns them into Twitter posts and newsletter posts, etc. Beautiful. There are other free versions also available, so you can try Otter AI. You can even use the basic Notes app in your phone. And then once you've selected your app, basically, what you want to do is every single day you will set aside 2 minutes. If you have more time, you can do it for longer, but 2 minutes is the bare minimum that you need to do. And you are going to share your thoughts while recording your voice on this app on any particular topic. You can tell a story, you can recount an experience that happened, you can talk about your feelings, you can even just rant. But when you do this every single day, it does a couple of different things. One, it teaches you how to be more articulate with your thoughts. That means you understand how to put your thoughts into words. A lot of us just struggle with doing that. And because you're not doing it with people, you're not afraid of making mistakes. And then you take your time to think and then speak. And secondly, over time, when you continue to do this exercise, it teaches you how to put across your thoughts in a structured way. So another part of this exercise that I want you to do after you've just gone ahead and recorded your voice notes for a month, you start applying frameworks to your speaking to make it even more structured. So let's say that you're talking about how the current government is not doing a particularly good job. So now while articulating your thoughts on this topic, I want you to try and use the speak framework, which is the situation. Talk about the situation, what is happening. Then the problem. Why is this situation not ideal? The evidence, aka what makes you believe that this is actually a problem. Action. What can the government do or what can you do to make a change? And finally, the key takeaway. How would you summarize your thoughts in 2 sentences if you just had that much time to communicate? Now, this is often a structure that is used by debaters, and when you start to practice it by yourself, by speaking about topics that interest you, it automatically seeps into your everyday communication. It becomes a part of your subconscious, and that is very, very important. Your voice is an extremely powerful tool, and how you use it can make or break your communication. And the 2 key aspects of great voice modulation are pace and pauses. These can transform how your message is received by the samne wali party. Now, pace just basically means setting the tone for your conversation, for your communication. Let me show you this with an example. Imagine I say something like, you're starting a new project and you're excited but also overwhelmed because there's so much to do and you don't know where to begin, so you just dive in and hope for the best. Now compare that to, imagine you are starting a new project. You feel excited but also a little bit overwhelmed. There is so much to do and you are so unsure about where to begin. But instead of rushing, you take a deep breath and focus on one step at a time. Now in the first one, I sound anxious. And that rushed pace reflects carelessness. And the audience is, bam, disconnected. But in the second one, I'm more calm, I'm more assured. The pace reflects importance. It makes the audience connect emotionally with the message that I'm giving. And that makes the message a lot more effective. Now imagine that I say this instead. Imagine that you are starting a new project and you are excited but also a little bit overwhelmed. Doesn't that take away the entire impact of what I'm trying to say? The ums and the ahs are your biggest enemies when you're trying to be an effective communicator. You are much better off just pausing. Because pauses are like punctuations for your speech. They add rhythm and clarity to your speech. Again, let me repeat that sentence with pauses instead of the ums and the ahs. Imagine that you are starting a new project. You feel excited about it, but also a little bit overwhelmed. There is so much to do and you're unsure about where to begin. But instead of rushing, you take a deep breath. And then you just focus on one step at a time. Better, right? This is because pauses signal importance. They give your listener time to absorb your words and to get emotionally connected with your message. That cannot happen with ums and ahs because that also makes people focus on the ums and the ahs. Now, most people don't focus on the pacing or the pauses, and when they speak, it all ends up sounding like one long sentence, or it is so filled with ums and ahs that you cannot really pay attention. But when you get both things right, this is what you end up sounding like. Picture this. You are standing in front of a crowd. Your heart is racing. Your palms are sweaty. And the words you've prepared feel like they're slipping away. But then you take a moment. You pause. You take a deep breath. And then you just start to speak one word at a time. And when you do this, you are just commanding the room, whether it is a room full of people or just one person. Now, mastering pacing and pauses is actually a lot easier than most people make it out to be. You just need to do these two exercises. The first is that voice recording exercise from the previous point, because that helps with your pauses, your pacing, all of that. And the second is to read aloud from books that you love, but follow the punctuation to a T. And pick books with good English and grammar. I'm going to share an example from this book by William Dalrymple right here. He's a great author. He has impeccable English. And what you want to do when you're reading is also try and speak with the emotion that you are feeling while you are reading this. So let me show you. The idea for this book was born 16 years ago on a high, clear Himalayan morning in the summer of 1993. I was corkscrewing my way up from the banks of the river Bhagirathi.